Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Friday morning so far. Not Friday morning where I'm at, anyway. Could be Friday, the start of the afternoon, wherever you're at across the world. I'm in North America, though, so we're just getting starting our day out here. And the markets have been pretty interesting. I'm going to talk about a few of them here this morning, and we'll dive in and we'll see what we can scrape out of the market here for a couple of quick trades. The market's just starting to get active now. Unless you've been dealing with the cable, and you can see what it's been doing here. Been running pretty nicely, actually. So we might. I don't like looking for. It's Friday right now, so I don't. I'll talk about this one here in a minute, but I've got my eye on it. What I'd like to see, basically, is price. And I don't think we'll see it today because it's already ran about 200 pips. So I think it's pretty much exhausted for the day. I was looking for this level to get tagged. One of these two levels, and this level actually got nailed. The low right here taken at 138.25, and then the next level I'm going to be looking at is 137.40s. So this level down here won't happen today, but we've already ran this level here, and that was kind of my target set out, but we'll talk about this one here in a minute. I just want to talk about the US dollar index briefly, and it's kind of, so we were in this consolidation area, and this was right around that quarterly reversal that I was going to say that was happening on February 2nd. Let me just double check that date. I think it was the 2nd. Yeah, last week when they had all of the news come out, non-farm payroll news and everything like that, I had a suspicion that the US dollar was going to reverse. Now, it did reverse. We posted last week was an all and up week, and we're going to consider today as well, too. I'm assuming this is going to finish off bullish. I'd like to see it get above this line here. It's just kind of, and that was yesterday's high. It's just been kind of banging into it here, and it's sort of been trading sideways. It had a nice explosive movement earlier on in the week. Wednesday was a big up day, and then we're just sort of sitting in the middle of this consolidation range right here. And I'll just do something real quick here, just to kind of illustrate my point a little bit more. I'm just going to drop a quick fib on it to take a level and show you kind of what I'm just looking at here. So that line, that red line there, and I'll change colors on that so you can see it a little bit better. I don't think you can see purple very well. Let's make it dark green. Sure. So this red line here, that's just the high of yesterday. That's all that is. And then this green line here is the 50% line of this consolidation. So it's banged up into it once, ran through it yesterday, closed below it, and then today ran up through it again, and so far it's just hovering below it. I'd like to see today's trading, which is pretty much going to start kicking off here in about 15 minutes time when the CME opens here. I'd like to see this be a nice big bullish candle and have a convincing run through this consolidation area here. So what I'm basically saying is we had that shift happen. We had some nice movement out of this reversal area down here, and we're back up into this consolidation area. So what's going to confirm this as a bullish reversal to me, and again, I'm still bearish on the US dollar index. Like, we've got to look at the big picture here. That's the big picture. So really, until price breaks this consolidation high into here and gets up into here, I'm not necessarily going to change my overall long-term outlook on the US dollar index until these levels are broken. This being kind of this is the line in the sand. This red line right there, that's the line in the sand. But when we get up into this area here, which could be, into maybe the end of February here, if it happens at all, that's kind of going to be taking my long-term bias change from bearish to bullish, and then it'll be confirmed once it breaks up into here. So short-term, what I'm getting at here is if we can bust through this here and convincingly close above this today, or even into early next week, then I'm going to be looking at bullish plays for the short term to see if we can get higher and higher and higher and up into these levels here. So we're not too far away. I mean, it's not like we're, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pips. You know, we're only a couple hundred pips to clear this level here, and then we're about 400 to clear those levels, that red line there. So that's what I'm looking at the dollar index. Now, what could very well likely happen is we have convincingly broke out of this. So what could happen, and we've had a nice run and subsequent run on a couple of currency pairs as well too. But what we could see next week, if price doesn't break this level today, next week this is what we could see. We could see price come back down and want to retest the old highs of this consolidation area here, and maybe even down into the body of this down candle here. And then I think we're going to see price do this. So it could do this Monday, Tuesday, create a low, and then continue higher if we're going to see short-term bullishness in the US dollar, which I believe we will. Again, they're tightening their interest rates down in the US, and they are which tends to drive the dollar higher. So I think that's sort of what we're going to see with the US dollar. And if you're new to us and just joining us, just to let you know, the US dollar is what we use to analyze all of our trades. That gives us directional bias on all of the major currency crosses that are coupled with the US dollar index. So that's why I spend so much time to go through the US dollar. Once we understand where this is going and the position that this is headed in, then that gives us, like I say, our bias for it. So that's why we do so much analysis on it. Anyway, back to this. If we don't get above this line here today, then, and I'm talking about the green line, not the red line. Well, the red line too, that was yesterday's high. That would be nice if we could clear that. But if we don't convincingly break this today and it starts to trade back down here, I'll be looking for this on Monday, Tuesday to happen. One of those 2 days, I don't know which day, will create the low, and then we'll be looking for further continuance to the upside, if that's what they want to do. Again, I mean, short term, I'm thinking with all the news that's coming out on this, I think they want to take this higher as opposed to continuing its downward trend. It's had a nice reversal last week as well too, but we're not quite there yet. You know, in terms of our short-term confirmation, we're still kind of in that middle range here. So I want to see what happens today. I want to see if we can clear this area and convincingly get up above this green line here, and above yesterday's high, close higher, and then next week, one of two things, like I say, we're either going to see this come down, run up higher, or we're just going to see a nice continuance to the upside, and then we'll get into this trading range up into here towards the end of next week. So that's what I'm looking for. That's my outlook on the US dollar. And then we could see a nice retracement once it gets to this level here. Back up into this consolidation range here. We could see a nice drop back down here and a nice retracement, and then, you know, gather some longs up, take some people out of the market down here, and then a continuance higher if that's where they want to go overall. Again, it could take us, you know, whoops. I hate that they put that button that close to. I wish I could move this button over here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that on my screen. I always accidentally hit it. It cascades my windows, and then I gotta zoom out again. Anyway, what I was talking about is to get back up to these levels here. This could take, you know, a good couple of months to do this if this is where they want to take it. So like I say, it's not going to happen in a week or 2 weeks. It's going to take probably until like April if it wants to get up in here. And then after, you know, 2 months of straight up trends, and it's not going to just go straight up. It's going to, you know, dance around, go sideways. We'll have maybe a consolidation area in here, another one in here, and maybe another one up here if they want to take it up that high. So it'll take a little while to get up there, but that's kind of the overall directional bias I've got for the next couple of months until proven otherwise. Now, there's nothing to say that, you know, price, once it gets just above this, it might just pop its head up, and you can see this trend line here. I'm not necessarily a big trend line trader, but you can see this. If it pops up, it could just decide to dump back down again too and continue its bearishness. And because we do have some levels, that's the next level that I'm looking at on the downside is 86.80. and that's all that is just this weekly high in here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So if we are short-term bullish for the U.S. dollar index, we are short-term bearish for the cross bears. And looking at this, so just so you know, this morning we'll just run through the euro, the cable. We'll look at the UJ and the US yen pair. We'll just briefly touch on CAD, because this thing's had a nice breakout movement here I want to discuss quickly. The Aussie, you can see here, these were the levels that I've been posting on Aussie all this week, and we didn't quite get a retracement up into here as high as I had liked, but you can see the downward momentum and continuation to the downside here. These are our targets laid out for the Aussies, so if you're an Aussie trader, that's where we're headed. I want to discuss crude oil, which is having a nice little pop right now. I'm continued bearish on crude oil. Again, that coincides as well too with the U.S. dollar index. Typically, if the U.S. dollar index is going to go higher, commodities are going to trade softer. So that's what I'm looking at here. I want to see a rejection on this. So if you guys are a crude trader at all, just as a quick signal to put out, you could go short on U.S. oil. And so this is what I'm looking at for today on oil. Basically the candle body low there, they may want to just kind of drive up and take that out, but anywhere from where it is right now to up into 60.40, it would be a good position in my mind, where you could potentially run short. But you know, don't jump into anything. You gotta wait until this candle closes and finish. So in about a minute here, this candle is going to close, and then the next candles, they should want to take it back down and go lower if it's going to finish lower on the day. So just watch this. Don't jump into a trade right now or anything like that, but just watch this candle. If we see some nice rejection on it, the next one should open and it should run lower and continue down. I've got some levels marked out here on the downside, where I'd like to see crude oil head to 58, basically 59 big figure would be kind of right in this box right here, is sort of where I'm looking at crude to finish out. Hopefully today would be great if we could get that on Friday. It may just wick into it, touch it, and then come back up. So you don't want to hold it for the full day. If it just gets down into this area, anywhere from 50.20 to 50 even, you can get out of the trade and just collect your profit and walk away, and that's you know, job well done on the day. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. We'll revisit this in a minute and come back to that. But talk about a little bit about Bitcoin. So this was the idea I had today. I'll run through this. I might as well talk about Bitcoin now, because I know there's a lot of people out there who trade it actively. And before I get into the euro and the cable pairs, I'll just discuss this quickly. So Bitcoin, as you can see, is, and if you followed my other live sessions before, you've heard me talk about this plenty. We are going to see further downside, and you know, there's a lot of things that are happening in the market right now. Case in point, you look at the S&P and what it's been doing. People are getting murdered on this thing right now, and it's no shock that, you know, what's happening right now with the U.S. dollar looking at reversing. Where are we here? S&P getting crushed. Bitcoin, again, they're selling off, and all they want to do is take it down to get price lower. I mean, there's always the naysayers out there who say, oh, Bitcoin's crashing, crypto's crashing. You know, if that were happening, you wouldn't see this on the way down. If it were crashing, it would just be one straight solid bar all the way down, and it would literally be at zero. Maybe not zero, I mean, they may hold it a little bit, but if it were going to crash and if it were going to go to zero and everyone was bailing on Bitcoin and none of the banks wanted it because they thought it was a BS currency and that there was no faith or no value in it, they wouldn't be doing this. They wouldn't be stair-stepping this thing down. It would just be a straight black down bar, black candle that would literally look like this. Right? It'd just be straight down and we'd be at zero. So there's a lot of people out there that are saying some ridiculous stuff about Bitcoin. I love cryptos, actually. I didn't get into Bitcoin personally, like on a personal level. I didn't trade any of this up into here. just because I'm not a guy that likes to trade on. I was contemplating it when it went to 1,000 and then it broke back down to 500, and I wasn't too sure. That was about a year and a half ago, I think that was. I wasn't overly convinced that it was going to see, that it was going to pop back up to over 1,000, and I was wrong, and then it did, and it screamed up. And once it starts to get into 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, and 7 and 8, it's overbought in my opinion. And I'll wait for the correction wave to come back down and correct and get in at lower prices. So I mean, nothing but time, right? So you don't have to rush in when you're trading. So what I'm expecting to happen with Bitcoin going forward is, you see these lines down here, this one red line right here at 49.53, you could call it 5,000. The low on this candle comes in at 5096. So I'd like to see them come down and just sweep that low right there, and then that's where I would be looking for a reversal or a continuation. And that's the thing is so you can see here, this to me is not convincing. This is, I think, just a stab down to get traders trapped going long, and then I think they're going to drop it down again. I think they're going to stair step this down a few more levels yet, and this level right here, if they were to come down, wick down, and reverse, I think they'd be looking for reversals down here. And I'm not calling the end of the market by any means, because I mean they could take this thing down to $500, you know, for all I know. I'm just saying these are the levels that you got to watch, and you could see some action happening in here. And the tip off is this: if, let's say, for instance, price, just for argument's sake, starts trading lower, and let's say it comes down to this first red line here. What I would be watching for is this: it's price to come down, wick through, close above that red line, do one of these, and then come back down, failure swing, and then run higher. So you see the lows, right, where it doesn't come down and take the low again. That's where I'd be looking. And you could argue and say, well, you know what, that's what it did here, and I didn't see a rally higher. That is correct, but you got to also look. It didn't, in my opinion, take out any significant levels when it whipped down through here. So in my mind, there was still a lot of room to the downside for them to take it lower and scoop up some liquidity lower. So that was kind of what my thoughts were up in here. And if you were joining my live sessions from earlier in the year and end of last year, I'm live and I'm on there. You can jump on our YouTube channel, click subscribe, by the way, while you're here in the bottom right hand corner. Click on that icon right here and just click subscribe to my channel. But you can view all of my live commentary on Bitcoin, saying this is going to go down, it's going to go down, it's going to go down. Do not buy Bitcoin, sell it, sell it, sell it, and this is why. So anyway, what I'm saying, long term, one of these two levels is going to get tagged, either this one here, the sub 5,000, or the 3,000 level is going to get tagged in the next little while. And I won't be looking to buy it until it does hit one of these levels and convincingly trades off of it with this failure swing. That's what I'm looking for. It's some people call it a double bottom. I call it a failure swing. But basically, price does not take this out, and it starts to run higher. It's basically a retest of those areas, and then it goes higher. So that's what I'm looking for to happen. So anyway, that's Bitcoin. What did I say earlier? Crude oil. Yeah, so we're watching crude oil again. You could take a small short in here on crude oil. Give it maybe another, CME is just opening now, so they may want to run it a little bit higher and then come back down, but I think the highs are in for the day. What will negate this trade is if price comes in, obviously breaks this high up in here, that will negate this trade. I think they've made the high already on the day in the London session, so they shouldn't technically need to come back up here and take those again, but watch for that. It might do that. So watch price right here. If it doesn't want to go lower, then they may want to kick it a little bit higher and maybe even come up into, say, this area, this blue line up in here, and then run it lower. But watch that. I'm looking for this 59.90 level. Is that what I said? Wait a minute. Go to chart. Sorry. Yeah, 59 even is what I'm looking for. Don't know if we'll get it today. So that's why I've got the second red line on the chart right here at 59.90. That's kind of the top range of this consolidation. This is where I'd be looking to see if they're going to take price, if they want to continue it bearish today. That's where I'd be looking at them taking the price down to, and then I want to see what happens with price when it gets into that level. Basically, what I mean by that is if it's, I'll just go down to it. So if they take it down and so let's just say, for instance, this is the candle that they use, and I'll just change this so you kind of, I'm all about the visual. A lot of traders are. Let's just say, for instance, this is what they wanted to do, okay? So this is that 59.90 level. Okay, and you could assume that this was an all bearish black candle. I guess I can fill it in for you, if it'll help. So they mess around, they do whatever they're doing up here, and then they do decide to take it lower. What I'll be watching for is this. If they want to come in and take price down and wick into it, and I don't know if I can get this stupid candle to cooperate. No, I won't be able to get it to cooperate. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe again on the 15. Sure, whatever. You kind of get my point, but there we go. So if they come in and they just kind of start doing this, where they wick, that's kind of going to lead me to believe, and depending on the time of the day, like if it's, we're talking getting close to 11:30 in the morning, right before New York lunch, if this is what they're doing, I'm going to take any profits that I've got off the table here as soon as it hits that level in there. Just because they may not want to take it any lower on the day. So again, I don't know if you're a crude trader. If you are, you know what, guys, you got a chat right in front of you. That's the chat window up. If there's something that you want to see specifically talked about today, just throw it up in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. But this is kind of what I've been looking at. So if they just start doing this on crude oil, I'll be looking at taking profits there, depending on the time of the day. If they start doing it right now, I won't. I'll let that price develop. But what I'd be looking for the target would be this guy down here. So what I'd like to see is basically this come. We're not going to get one big black down candle or anything like that, but you kind of get what I'm driving at here. And then this 59 big figure, kind of anywhere in between these two red lines is sort of where I'd be looking at getting out today. If they want to take it that low, that would be a great rip down. About $1. From now, $1.20 from current price, which is easily doable on crude oil. So that's crude oil. Again, guys, any questions, throw it in the chat. I've got it up here, so I'll take a look at it. Let's skip over to the euro. So euro, I was looking, we're looking for continued shorts on euro. I had a signal out the other day, and I'll get rid of these levels here because they're not important now. But I had a signal out on Tuesday, yesterday morning, or I guess into London, Thursday's London session. I was hoping price was going to trade up and then trade softer, and they consolidated it. Now, if you were part of that trading session, you'd note that I mentioned, one second, guys. You'd note if you were part of that Thursday trading session that I had mentioned between the euro and the cable, the pound USD, if you trade either of these pairs or both of these pairs, you'll kind of notice a common theme happening, that typically one or the other moves. So this is what I was looking for the euro, but the euro did, and I did say this, the euro would come off of a big Wednesday. So there's some big movement on Wednesday on the euro. That was, oops, wrong one. That took it down 160 pips. That's a big day on the euro. 160 pips is a big day on the euro USD. So I had said, this is what I'm looking for to happen Thursday, Friday. However, it had a big day, so typically they only will run either the euro or the cable lower, and we were short. Our bias is short. This is where I'm looking. They'll probably get into this next week because today's a sideways day, as was yesterday. So what they're doing is they're building up positions to go short, and they're going to run it down. So it's either going to be the euro or the cable. So the trade was in the cable, as you can see here. We're Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Monday had a big down day on the cable. Tuesday and Wednesday were basically sideways. And Thursday, I mentioned, do you see this X right here? From my session, I think on Thursday morning, I said these are just this level in here is a very it's a great area for the markets to come up and grab this liquidity up in here, and that's exactly what they did. They ran it up. They went actually higher than what I thought they were going to go. I sort of thought they were going to come up to the top of this red line right here at 140.20, but they actually ran it up to about 140.60 at the high. Yeah, 140.66. So they went about 40 pips deeper than what I thought they were. But subsequently, this is where they rolled it down to. So anyway, that's kind of where you see that action. They were moving the pound dollar and not the euro, as you can see here. Same hourly chart, right? They moved the euro on Wednesday, consolidated. They consolidated the cable on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday they grabbed the liquidity, and then today they dropped it. Today's been a big day on the cable, so I don't see any trade on the cable today. It's already moved 100, 200 pips. So what typically happens, just so you know, on Fridays, now, if this chart, if this was a, say, a Wednesday or a Thursday, and we had price do this, I would suggest you wait for price to trickle back up and then you get short if it were a Wednesday or a Thursday, because there's plenty of time into the next subsequent day for them to come down and then bring price back down. So what they do on on Friday, if you get a big range day on a Friday, and you got to look at the overall weekly range, of course, but and this is a down week. So this is, imagine a weekly candle. You don't have to imagine it, I can show you. You see this weekly down candle right here? Okay, big black candle, boom, down, bearish candle. So what you're going to see on Friday happen, assume this is a weekly candle. So this is what we're looking at right now, right? Weekly candle. Well, what it's going to do, it's going to put a wick in on the bottom right here, okay? And right now, price is right there, okay? Just for argument's sakes. That's the big weekly bull candle. If you jump out to a week, that's basically what it looked like. And this little tail right here, that's this guy right here, okay? That's where price is trading, so it looks maybe more like this. Let's say that's the weekly range. And actually, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, so we can actually just show you exactly. So it opened up right here. I'll just get real specific here, just for a second. But I just kind of want to show you the idea, okay? So that's what the weekly candle looks like right now, okay? You have the open on Monday, which is right about here. You have the wick up and then come down. It's currently trading right here, and this is the wick down. So what happens is on Friday, a lot of position traders and a lot of big money trading the market, they don't like to carry their positions over the weekend. So they will typically exit their positions on Friday. So Friday will, if it's a down week, Friday will typically create the low right around now to the next hour or two from now. It'll create the low, and then everyone will sell off their positions in profit, and then price will start to tick back up, and the week will finish off sort of like this. So what I'm driving at here is I don't want to take a short on the pound dollar, because typically large money traders are going to start exiting their positions. It was a very, very big day. It had a big run. It was a 200 pip day today. From tip to tip, we're almost 200 pips. That's a big, big day for the cable, and I don't want to try and squeeze any more juice out of this lemon, only because I think it's had its daily range, and there's no sense. I mean, let's say price trades back up. So a typical trade here, I'd wait for price to come back up and trade up into one of these two levels here, either right here. If I can get a straight line, save my life. Oh man. Sorry guys, if you've been following me on these live sessions, you'll know one of my biggest pet peeves is the trend lines with MT4. They drive me nuts. So I'd be looking at price to come up to one of these two levels if it wasn't Friday, right, and do this, and if it wasn't this late in the day, like if it had done this maybe and had a big run in London and then had been starting to trickle up pre-New York Open, and then New York Open jammed it up, this is what I'd be looking for a continuation into the New York trading session, and then we'd exit our positions around 11:30 a.m. 12 p.m. New York time. But because it's Friday, we've seen a big move already, and we see a little retracement in here. You may be able to grab 50 pips or something like that. I don't know, but I wouldn't count on that happening. And I'll just get rid of this stuff here because it's not relevant. But you can kind of see what I'm driving at here. So I think we've pretty much hit the low. It may come down a little bit more. I don't know. I don't think it'll get down to this blue line here, which was my target. But anywhere in this box right here was sort of where I was looking, and price has stabbed down there and has been retreating so far. So that's sort of why I'm electing. I'm not going to take a trade in the pound dollar today or the euro, because again, the euro is consolidating, going straight sideways. You don't want to be trading in this junk right here. If price comes back up to one of these levels here, and more specifically maybe the 123.15 level, right, you could certainly take a look at getting the short in. It's not going to happen today. I think it'll happen Monday or Tuesday, sorry. Price will do what it's going to do here today, and then it'll come up on Monday. It'll run up maybe Monday, Tuesday. One of those days will hit the high, and then we'll come back down here. So that's what I'm looking for the euro into next week. So we'll be looking at those trades here, and that's again from current levels. That's about a 200 pip range. So I'll just adjust some of the stuff here. Got a little bit of shrapnel up in this area. Let me get rid of that for you so you can see it a little bit better. So basically off the lows here, and price may even, this is a 4-hour I'm on, you could see price come up to the bottom of those lows as well. That could be an option. So just kind of watch what the price is going to do here for euro, and and that's what we're going to be looking at into next week. So I'd love to come in here and tell you there's going to be a ton of stuff happening, and there's going to be action all over the place. You can see what this is doing, eh? Powering up, wicking down, and now it looks like it's powering up again. I'm kind of wondering here if they're not just going to take this higher and finish up in this consolidation here today. CMEs, they've only been open for about 15 minutes, so we're going to see what's going to happen here pretty quickly on oil anyway. Okay, so we got the euro, so that's going to be our range for next week. The pound dollar, again, I explained my reasons. You can do what you want to do. I'm not looking for a trade on the pound dollar today for that reason, but you know, use your discretion. You do what you want to do. I'm going to elect to stay on the sidelines for this pair for today, but there will be trades into next week, so don't think that you've missed anything and that we're never going to see any. I can't get it straight. that we're never going to see any movement on this again, because it's just beginning, in my opinion, especially if the US dollar index is going to continue weaker. We've got some levels. I want to see the next level. I'll just zoom out a little bit. And so you can see we've had a nice convincing breakdown on the pound. They ran up and came right to the bottom of these bodies, these candles right here, rejected. And again, like I say, I was just looking for a move right up into here, and so pretty much anywhere in this area we'd be looking for a reversal to go short, which I called on Thursday morning's trading session, London Open trading session. It did that nicely, and and then price subsequently has traded off lower from there, and I like green check marks for some reason. I don't know why. Price grabbed the liquidity, and then now it's dropped down. And to be honest with you, 8 hours ago would have been a great time to go short on this. However, I wasn't watching the London Open, and I just want to take a quick peek. And I'll bring this this window in here so you can see. This was February. That was yesterday's. So I'll just go into more, and you can see Friday. Like there's manufacturing production, and then a good. There's some. This is the news action basically that was driving everything here, and you can see the subsequent reaction in the pound dollar. It crushed it. So you can see that sometimes you get these extended movements with it in London, and 1 second, guys. Sorry, just 1 second, guys. Just gotta log into a program here. It just takes a second. Okay. I didn't like that. Having a fun time with technology the past couple of weeks. I don't know if any of you can relate, but sometimes when your systems just decide to go squirrely, they do it for an extended period of time for whatever reason. 1 more second. The joys of trading live. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see here the news on pound dollar was pretty substantial, right? So it moved the markets quite a bit, and you can see the subsequent drop today, and that was about 4 hours ago. So they ran it up pre-news right here on this candle here. They wicked it up, and then they dropped it, and that's where you'd want to take your short. Obviously, and I can key into closer levels if anybody wants to see that a little bit closer. Just let me know, but that's pretty much the overview I'm going to take of it right now. And then they wicked it in, and this is what I was looking for, sort of anywhere in this area here, this red box that I had. And I didn't set these up. You can, again, you can go to my last live session, and you can look at the levels that I was calling on that, and my reasons why. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, may not be able to run that program. I'm sorry guys, I'm getting some stream issues. Can you guys hear me in the chat? Just type a yes or a no if you can hear me. I think I might be having some bandwidth issues here. I'll just wait for a second, but if you guys can hear me, just let me know. I might have to close that program I just opened up. It's just hogging all of my resources. It's a fairly intensive program. So anyway, with the pound dollar, this is where I'm looking at for it to go down into this next consolidation area. So I think what we're going to see, we'll see price probably close down here, and then next week we'll probably do something like this. We'll come up back into this kind of the middle of this area somewhere, and then we'll continue to do this here. Again, this is all going to come in on the strength of the US dollar, and they're right now they're kind of thinking and wondering if they're going to sell off from here or punch it through. So let's wait and see what happens there, but that's going to affect this. We'll see if it wants to close. If it closes below this blue line, convincingly closes below it, then that's basically what I want to see for further continuation to the downside. Is this candle closes down here and then resumes lower. But again, there could be a few pips here. I mean, I'm not saying don't trade it. I mean, I'm just saying I'm not trading it. But if you're looking for something, you could certainly maybe potentially take it off of the lows here, because there is still some time technically. I just don't think we're going to see a big movement here. You're not going to capture 100 pips or anything like that, but you might be able to pull out 30-40 pips out of it for sure if they want to run it back down to the lower levels again. So 138.50 somewhere in there. I know I'm kind of just saying, don't trade it, and then now I'm coming in back saying, well, you could potentially do it, but I mean, you got to take your own risk into account. If you got a demo trade, you can do whatever you want in your demo account, obviously, and just use it all for practice. But I don't know that they're necessarily going to get back down here again. But I'd like to see them convincingly close this 4-hour candle that I was showing you convincingly below the blue line here. And not that they just ran down this low, took liquidity, and they were looking for higher prices, because I think that's what they did here. This guy right here, I think that's where they took it, and I think that's why we're going to see lower prices subsequently. So they really worked the price in here very nicely, and you can see just some areas I'm looking at here. They just missed that a little bit though, which is interesting. So. Anyway, that's the pound dollar. If you have any questions on that, thanks, John, for confirming. You can hear it. So U.S. excuse me, U.S. yen. This one here is they're not really doing anything with this oil trade. I keep coming back to this just because I've got a position on it and I'm currently monitoring it. I'm not short here or anything like that, just so if you're curious, but I've got a position on crude in another account, and demo account, of course. We don't do any live trading here. I don't teach in a live account, so I'm never gonna show you any live trades for disclosure's sake. So just so you know, everything's in a demo. We're all doing practice here, but basically I got a short in yesterday up in here, and I saw price stab in, saw it stab in again, and with the spread that I get offered from my broker, it didn't give me a great entry, to be honest with you. I was kind of disappointed on the entry it gave me, but price wicked up into here and then it fell off, and I was thinking about getting out of here yesterday. But I wanted to see what the market was doing, so it kind of traded up a little bit, and it traded soft nicely, took out this low here, and I'm looking for it to go down into this level, which is kind of why I keep coming back to crude. I'm looking for it to come down either this level here or this level here, but just the way that they're kind of working price right now, I don't know if I'm going to get a deep retracement on it. Still thinking lower prices on it, but like I say, I don't want to see it go any higher than this. If it does, I might have to just take a second here and just collapse the trade, because I don't like them. Especially crude oil, you don't want to be holding positions over the weekend, unless you're a big position trader and you've got big monthly ranges that you're working in. A little bit of price fluctuation isn't going to do anything. But if you're trading tight to the market, I mean, there could be a bomb that goes off in some pipeline somewhere halfway across the world, and it affects oil prices. It'll shoot up or shoot down or whatever, run against you. And I've had that happen before, so you definitely don't want to be, especially with crude oil, volatile currencies, things of that nature, especially crude oil. You don't want to be holding positions over the weekend. So that's why. But yeah, I mean, if you're in like, copper or wheat or corn or something like that, those are very, very stable currencies. You don't see anything, happening like that with those types of commodities. Sorry, stable commodities, not currencies. So you don't have to worry about holding positions over the weekends for them. But that's just crude oil. So that's why I keep coming back to this. So I'm just going to keep looking at this. And they're trading up into it now here. I don't like that. So I'm just going to keep watching that here for a minute. Anyway, pound dollar. So, sorry, pound dollar we discussed. If you have any questions on the pound dollar, I think I've pretty much covered my thoughts on this enough for the day. I'm not going to go back through that again. US yen, look at this. Look at that. Wow. That is a ridiculous wick on that candle. Oh my God, what are they doing with the yen? 40 pip candle in 15 minutes. Where are they taking this? So so what you want to do when you're trading, when I take my trades, I get my trade idea, my trade bias, obviously off the the monthly, the weekly, and the daily charts. Okay, so you can see this again. The U.S. yen has the U.S. dollar index in the front of the currency basket. So whatever the U.S. dollar does, i.e. going up, the U.S. yen should be seeing subsequent gains as well too. Now you have to look at the strength of the commodity, so of the currency, so of the yen as well too. So to get that, you just go over to a Japanese yen futures chart and find out what the price is doing. If it's seeing some nice strength, and let's say the U.S. dollar is gaining, and the U.S. yen has some nice strength as well, you may not get as big movements as what the U.S. dollar is doing, which is what we saw with the U.S. CAD happening, which I'll discuss here in a minute. But the U.S. yen so far, it hasn't seen the massive rally that the U.S. dollar index. So this movement in the dollar index right here this week, the U.S. yen has not seen that. So this is the weak trading. As you can see on the daily, this is how the week's been playing out. So there's strength on the U.S. yen. So it's one of two things is going to happen. So you see how prices come down on the yen, traded down, wicked down, came down to this support area here, traded down, support, wick, popped up nicely, traded back into this consolidation area, and then traded softer. Kind of leads me to believe that they may want to take this a little bit lower, and we're going to find out next week. So this week was really just a consolidation week here, and you can see again consolidation, price trades from consolidation to consolidation. So you can see here, right, consolidation up here, price consolidated here, and then drop lower, consolidated, drop lower, consolidated, drop lower, consolidated, drop lower. Same thing down here. Price came down, hit the extreme end of this consolidation trading range. Another mini consolidation, traded away. Came down, mini consolidation, traded away. Big consolidation area in here, traded away. And now we're back at it again, consolidation area. So I'm waiting to see confirmation if it wants to trade away from it again, or if it wants to continue to the downside again. We're seeing some big movement in the U.S. dollar, some bullish movement, so it should drag this pair up with it. But again, keep in mind that the U.S. yen, the yen futures contract is showing strength, so they could want to drag it down. So you just kind of got to watch that. So right now there's no trade on the yen because it's been doing this. It's been up, it's been down, and we're waiting to see what happens. And you see these wicks in here, wick. This right here could be something very similar to this, what they did up here. So you see wick, drove price down, brought it back up, wick, and then subsequently lowered it from there. They may, and this wick right here, this candle right here, is sort of what I'm looking for on this pair to happen. So you don't want to just get long right now just because it's trading above this red line, because they may want to come and basically wick down one day and potentially maybe even take out this low here, wick down, and then start running the thing up again. So you got to be very, very cognizant of that. So there's no trade on the yen today that I like anyway. So again, back to my earlier comment, you get your bias from the weekly, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily charts, and then you get your entries and you find your entries down on the the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and even the 15-minute charts. So if we drill down to a 4 hour, you can see that consolidation in a little more detail here. They've come up, banged off of this consolidation area in here, dropped it back down again, and they're kind of taking this area and making it sort of look like support. So a lot of traders are looking at this and saying, oh, this is support and this is support. Next time it comes down and trades down to this red line, I'm going to get long, and that's support. Well, you got to be careful, because again, with the strength in the yen, they could want to come down and sink price lower here and take out everybody who's going long. So everybody who's going long right now, their stops are under these lows, or they're under this low right here. So that's why I say you got to be careful. They may want to come down and stop all those traders who are in long positions right now, stop them out, and then come back up and then just resume higher. They love to play that game. It's all about a liquidity game in the currency markets, and in all markets for that matter. It's all about liquidity. Where is all the liquidity sitting? Right now, everything's sitting right below the market right now. All right, so all the liquidity is right here, right under there. Now, the next place is right under here. All right, right there. I'm just going to put a line on this as well, too, so we know. So what they could want to do on the yen is, again, just chop in price in here, and then they could just want to go straight back down, right, with the candle, take out the longs over in this area here, because everyone's got their stop under here, or under here, and then continue to back up, and it hits your targets long term. So that's what you got to be careful of. You don't just want to get into a position and take a long just because you see this consolidation. So, and again, area consolidation in here. I'm not going to get too precise on this, but you can see consolidation in there. So price likes to trade from consolidation to consolidation. Consolidation, one here, and then final drop down here. Wait to see what happens. And once price gives you that confirmation, that trigger, then that's when you get long and you go for it. So no trade on the US yen. US CAD, I just want to discuss this. This is a very interesting candle that we see here. So this is a daily chart that I'm on. Again, going back to the bias, right? We're looking at, it's had a very nice run up. It has a nice, US CAD has been very bearish up until this point here, and that came in at lowest on that candle. That was the 1st of November last year, and then we've seen a nice pop up and then a failure swing right here. And price did not get lower than this candle, failure swing, and then a nice rally on this. So again, if we are looking at the US dollar index going higher, the US CAD should be going higher in tandem with the US dollar as well too. So just drilling, so if that's our bullish stance on the US CAD for the short term, we look at the weekly, and again we get our confirmation. Price came down, took the liquidity under the market here, failed to get under this low here. So that was technically a failure swing so far. Again, we gotta wait and see what price does, and rallied up nicely. Hit a big consolidation area in here, and this is sort of what's kind of got me believing as well too that we could see some further strength in the US CAD. Is as price was coming up here, the US dollar was doing the same thing in a very short, small rally. Then they consolidated the price rate in here, but this area here at the same time, the US dollar was sinking quite a bit, and then it took out an old previous low. The US dollar took out an old low over here that was created. But the US CAD, they didn't do that. They didn't take it lower than here. So that kind of leads me to believe that the US CAD has some, or the Canadian dollar has some underlying strength to it. And which, short term, I think. Anyway, so I think what we're going to see is price start to rally from here. And they had an interesting day today where they took it up into the consolidation area and whipped it back down. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know, like it's starting to get kind of late now. It's 7 o'clock. I mean, there's still time, but I would like to think that if, back to the US dollar here for a second, I'd like to think that if they're going to take and close this thing higher, they should probably start doing it now. But we'll see right here. If they want to take it higher, price won't go lower than this candle. The body of that candle, the price won't go lower than that. Man, my trend lines. I don't know if it drives you guys crazy, but it drives me nuts having my trend lines on straight. They shouldn't want to go down any lower than this candle here, and we should start to see some bullish reaction off of this if they're going to close it higher. I would like them to see it close it higher today and convincingly close above this green line here, but we won't know until the end of trading today. But they may be just reversing it now and then getting long, in the next hour or two, so we can watch for that. But with the US CAD, that's what they're doing here. So they're taking it up. And there must have been some news on the CAD. Let me just rip over here real quick. Because that was a fairly big, where are we, Friday? Pound dollar, yep, right here. Employment change on unemployment rates. So they're moving that due to some market news drivers. So, and that just happened, didn't it? That was at 8:30. That was about 30 minutes ago that happened. So, I'm not going to drive it up there nicely. Yeah, geez, and then they came right off the lows. This consolidation area right in here. See those lows right in there? Came in, tagged into it, and are reversing now. So your bias, again, bias on the monthly, weekly, and daily, in my opinion, it's bullish. And then the daily is confirming it right here. Right, you see down here, failure swing off of this low here. It failed to come down, hit that. It's traded higher. It's broken above this consolidation area now, and so far, subsequently, we are. Right, consolidation area here, and then it created another. No, it's not really consolidation. It's more just of a reversal in here. So I'm not going to put that on there, but you can see here we're back and we're kind of bouncing right between these two consolidation areas. So what I'd like to see them do, I don't want to see them close on any lower than this line here. No, you know what? I shouldn't say that actually. I think it's more. Let me just refine that. More like this body here. The body of that candle, I don't want to see them go any lower than that. If it goes lower than here, basically here and right here are kind of the lines in the sand on the CAD to continue its bullish run. So what they may do is they've got it wicking down here. If they don't take it back up today, then Monday, Tuesday, they could come down and take it into one of these two areas of this, but I don't want to see them go any lower than this. I'd like to see a price bounce higher from there. But to be honest with you, the amount of trades that we've taken in the US CAD lately are pretty low. There's not a lot, because I mean, this isn't a market conducive to trading. This is kind of a small range in here. Like this was a range of 200 pips, so I mean you could have sold the high and bought the low 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and potentially picked up a couple hundred pips. If you can do that in trading consolidations, that's what you want to do. If you're in the middle of the range, so if you're in this range here, right, and if you've heard me talk about this before, you don't want to be trading, right? You want to wait until it gets to the outermost edges of the consolidation area, and then you want to go, right? If it's going down, you want to go long. If it's going up, you want to go short. That's a consolidation range until it convincingly breaks out of that consolidation range. So let's say you got in 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and you picked up all the 200 pips each time, so you're up 800 pips, and then the price came down here again, and you said, oh, I want to go long, and then price comes and stops you out. Well, you lost one time out of, you know, a half a dozen. So you did pretty well if you can trade in consolidations that way. But for me, I didn't like this. It wasn't a huge range. So not like the US yen. You can see the consolidation range on the yen. This is like a 600 pip consolidation range here. So that's no problem. You can trade that easily. But the US CAD was a tight range. Didn't like it. So there haven't been any signals for the US CAD since you know, about in this area here, which was, you know, kind of back in, you know, October, November time frame, and it's been chopping sideways for the end of 2017, and then it broke lower, and then it chopped sideways, and then it broke a little bit lower, and now we're starting to trend out of that. So this could be good for a nice long again if we see. Look at the reaction off of that level right there. Nice reaction. So what I want to see is the market price start pushing that higher. So what we could see here with the reaction of that US dollar at current levels, we could start to see the US dollar or the US CAD start to trade higher now and get up into this consolidation range. So that's what I'm looking for. So let's just drop down to an hourly, and I like this. I like how it's whipped up. It's come down, so it's taken all the stops out above the market here for all those guys going short. It took out all the stops, and that was a nice wick. That was 60 pips, a 70 pip wick. That's huge. Ran it all the way up, trapped traders long. So all these breakout traders that are looking at this and saying, "Oh, price is screaming up, get long, get long, get long." And then they dropped it under the market to take all those guys out, and now all the short, now all the guys who are short selling are saying, "Oh, get short, get short, get short." They're dropping it down, and then they're going to run it back up here. I'll bet you that's what we're going to see happen, and we'll know that it'll be confirmed if price gets higher than this candle right here. That's exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to finish it higher on the day. So, oh man, trend lines, come on, get straight. Sometimes what you got to do is you just got to take it off and just do one of these. I find it's a lot less stressful doing that, a lot less time intensive. Just a little trick for you. If you can't get your trend line straight, take it off of the chart, move it down here, and get it straight. So I want to see price break this level here, and then we could see price finishing somewhere up around that red line that I have on the chart here at 26. You could call it 2670, 2680. But that's sort of what I'd be looking at for today on the US CAD. Now let's drop down. We're on an hourly. Let's drop down to a 15-minute and see if there's an entry. So what I want to see, and there's that trend line, not straight again, but that's okay. What I'd like to see happen here, if price can get through this level here, I'd like to actually see it come up, come back down again, potentially on this blue line here, and that's where you could pick up a long and then watch price trade higher on the day if it wants to do that. You got to watch. It could reject right from this level here and then trade softer and take out and try to, you know, take out liquidity here under the market from Thursday. So there's a bunch of traders from, you know, this is the weekly range: Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Monday offered a nice long opportunity. If you saw this, you see this retracement in here. Price opened up on Monday, came back down, and retraced down into the Friday highs here of last week, and then a nice long ensued off of it. I mean, this is a good range. I mean, again, I didn't trade this because I just wasn't too convinced of what the US dollar was going to do. But we had a nice entry right here, nice run up into Tuesday. Wednesday, come back down, took the liquidity out of Tuesday, and then subsequently it's kind of been going sideways since. Like, this isn't a big range in here. But now we're seeing some convincing price action right here. So it's taking all the guys out who were long, dropped the market on them, and it's starting to come down and take all the guys out again who have their stops right under here and right under here. So where are we? a trend line here. As you can see here, stops have been taken under there, and I think now they're going to want to continue this thing higher. So we'll see what happens there. We'll watch that, and I'm going to close down this live session here in about 20 minutes. So we'll see this candle finish, and we'll see the start of the next one, and then we'll see if we can't take a little trade off of there. And to be honest with you, there's another level right here that I'm looking at. So if price comes in and wants to, and looks like it wants to start loading off of this area right in here, right? So if we, so what I'm suggesting here, we see price, this candle right here, so maybe they want to finish it down here, finish it at its current level, wherever. And then the next candle doesn't want to go any lower than this red box right here. That would be the key and the tip-off for a long, to get long on it. But we got to see, because price has come down, it's broken convincingly below the market, it's taken out this liquidity here. Again, I think my overall stance is bullish. I think we could finish up into here, and maybe even take out these highs into the next couple of weeks for sure. This is my target. This is where I'm going. So if that's our bias, we can look at, you know, potentially getting long from current locations. But again, it's Friday, so, you know, sometimes pairs just do this Friday, right? They might see this consultant, see it's just been chop, 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 chop on that news release. It could just do this and finish right at the middle of the range. It could finish, you know, it may not want to go any higher than 2,600 on the day. That may be it, right? That may be the level, and they're really working that 1,2600 level right now. Really working it very, very strongly. So it's a key institutional level out there that the algos are trading off of right now, and they're building up positions. So this will break out, and it'll break out big, and it'll break out either to the upside or the downside. My thoughts are the upside, just because of the action that we're seeing in the U.S. dollar right now. And look at that, the oil is broken up. See, I didn't want to see that happen, unfortunately. Give me a second here, guys. I just want to watch price on crude oil here for just 1 second, if you could bear with me. We're seeing a bit of a reversal in the U.S. dollar, which I like. Continuation, so this could be a delayed effect on crude. I want to see if we got a reversal here. See how price traded up to that blue line there, and we've seen a strong down candle. Subsequently, I want to see if this is going to be continued down. What time is it here? Yeah, right in here. Okay, I'm just going to watch this for just a second here. Yeah, so US CAD, like I say, seeing some nice bullish movement now. What I'd like to see is price. I don't know if it'll give it to us, but what I'd like to see is this here, and see if we can't get in there. That might be nice for a little demo trade, potentially. And keep in mind, price could just go straight up from there, or finish right in the middle of the range here. I think we're done. I think going down, going lower, I think it's done, just because it swept the lows down here and had a nice wick rejection, and we're seeing some pretty bullish action on this candle right here. So I'd like to see continuation up from there. That's what we could be looking there. I wanted to talk about the Aussie dollar quickly. Aussie dollar, we just had a big reaction off the Aussie dollar. Zoom in. So you can see here again the bias, weekly, monthly, daily. We're in a nice uptrend on the monthly. Confirm that on the weekly. Again, nice uptrend on the weekly. On the daily, we saw some bearish price action. We've kind of hit a high. You can see up here, took the stops above this old high, and now it's trading software. This is again in tandem with the US dollar trading stronger, because the US dollar is the back pairing's currency, so whatever the US dollar is doing, the Aussie dollar is going to do the opposite. And you can see here I've identified a few levels where I can get rid of some of this on the chart to clear it up for you guys a bit. I was looking for subsequent shorts on this market, but this I believe was on Thursday. I was looking for Thursday for price to come up in here. You can see this and then go short. It didn't get up to those levels here. It's kind of doing it today now, where it's running up, and I think we're going to continue lower on from now. I think this was the run higher. You got to watch it though. There could be some more room up here that it may want to grab. Some more liquidity right up into here. I don't know. This could be it though. It could start to trade softer from there. So kind of a nice run on the Aussie dollar, and my targets going forward are 0.76, 0.77. Basically, this level right in here is sort of where I'm looking for the next target, and I'm just getting that because we've got a nice big expansion range in here. I'm expecting the same thing on the downside, and then the next area of consolidation is right in this level right in here. So that's about where I'd be expecting the next sort of consolidation range to occur, somewhere right in that area there. And then potentially back down to this trend line here. Again, we're bullish long term, short term, mid term, I guess. We are bearish. I think we're going to come right down to this level here. And there's a lot of confluences right into this area here as well too. And what we could see happen, again, I don't know the strength of what the US dollar is going to do, but what we could see potentially happening is, I just want to grab this trend line here, use that. What we could see if the US dollar, and depending on how much strength it's got, so let's say price comes down, hits this level of confluence in here. So again, there's a lot of things going on right at this level right here. We've got a monthly and weekly bullish trend line. We've got a level of, I guess, I don't know how to say it, algorithmic confluence right in here. You can see how much they've worked this level right in here. For whatever reason, this level here, 0.75, 0.76 basically. They've worked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 29, 30, 31, 32, like 33 times they've come down to this level in the past few years, right? And there's something about that level that they're working off of. So I'm pretty confident they're going to come back down to this level one more time. If they've ran into it that many times, they're going to come down one more time. So that would be, like I say, the next area we'd be looking at for something big to happen. Whether it go lower and continue lower and take out this old low here and maybe switch from a bullish monthly and weekly to a bearish, I don't know. But I'm expecting a bounce, at least some kind of a bounce to happen at this level here. So I think we're going to trade softer on the Aussie. We'll get into this next consolidation area here, and then I'm expecting some kind of reaction to happen here. So you can get short. It's a ways away. It's 7,800 right now. So that's 200 pips away on the Aussie. And then we should see some kind of measure of bounce. Now, whether that bounce comes in, what I was saying, if it bounces, comes down here and then bounces, depending on the strength of the US dollar, we could either see a failure swing, this to occur, right, where price fails to get above this, or it'll be a continuation to the upside and go higher. So it's depending. This will take a while. So it'll probably take a couple of weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks for price to get back down to here, and then it would probably take 3, 4, a month to 2 months for it to trade and do something like this. So this is long term, right? I mean, this is, sorry, I shouldn't say long term. This is 3, 4 months out for a move like that to happen, but I am expecting something big to happen at this level here, whether it be a continuation down and push through, or a bounce higher. So that's what we're looking at on the Aussie. And if we dial down, like I say, I like what it's done here. I like to see the rejection. I want to see some bigger rejection. I want to go over the US dollar. It's Nice bull candle here. I'd like to see them just slowly start ticking this thing up. And then if they do that, the Aussie is going to see the exact opposite happen. It's going to start ticking down. But I don't want to just run in and get a short in right here. See how they take in liquidity above this level right here? Right? And they just grabbed it. They just grabbed it by a couple of pips. So the high on this candle comes in at 78.27 on my feed, and the high on this candle comes in at 78.29. So they literally grabbed it by 2 pips, and then they're going to drop it. For sure, they're going to come down at the very minimum to the old highs over in here. So it's trading, you know, not a big range. You know, it's 20 pips. So anywhere from that range, anywhere from this range to this range here. So it could be 20 or 30 pips for a short. And they came down, came lower, closed on that candle lower, and are starting to take it down. I'm going to drop down to a 5 minute. And if price wants to break through this level here, then that's where they're going to take it, and they're going to run down to there. Convincingly, I believe. So, well, you know, like I say, maybe even off the highs here. You'd have to watch the highs here. There could be a bit of a bounce higher. So if you do go short, you don't want to be jamming your stop right in between it, right in behind it. You want to give yourself a little bit of trail room. But it's really, we're going to see the big test right here, right at this consolidation area. If price wants to push through here, then we're going to be looking down into this area. So that's what we'll be looking at for there. And go back over to my crude trade here, have a look. I want this candle to reject and come bearish here. See, this is why you don't want to just, like I say, you take some levels, you kind of look at some area of confluence and some logical levels of reversals, and you got to watch what price does. So it did, you know, tell you the truth, it wicked 1, 2, wicked into the 3rd time, but because of this candle right here, and here, so price powers up, and then if it does this, if you know, it's kind of a doji. So I don't necessarily want, I'm not instantly thinking, oh, it's a doji, it's going to go lower. Price didn't convincingly close lower, so I'd be looking for, if this thing closed lower than about the middle of this candle here, then I'd be thinking, okay, we're done, it's going to go softer. And then price traded up again. This would be the warning sign here, thinking, wow, they may want to run price higher before they take it down, if they take it down, and closed higher than these candles here. And then you see the subsequent bull candle that ensued after that. Now I like where it's rejected. I like the current level of rejection right in here, and I would be expecting to see, I'm going to get rid of this, we don't need that. I'm going to, what I'd like to see is this price not close above sort of the middle of this candle. I don't even want to really see it wick up here. I'd like to just start to see it trade softer. So we'll wait and see. But we could have an inside day. Like this is the day range on crude. And sorry, if you guys don't trade crude, I apologize. I trade it, obviously, as you can see. But you can see here, this has sort of been the consolidation range on crude oil for the day. So it's sort of been an inside day. So on the daily, it's going to look like a doji, as you can see here. See, it's kind of just sort of do nothing candle. But we had a big week on crude, like Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's trading. Like Monday trading, it traded right out of hop, just a small wick up, and then wow, big lead pipe down. Small retracement up on Tuesday, big lead pipe down. Thursday, big down day, and now we're at the top into this small consolidation area here, almost at the top of it. Price came down, wicked into it. Let me just look at this here. I just want to actually go down to a 4-hour. I'm going to zoom out. Second consolidation. Yeah, right in here. So there, it's kind of a more extended consolidating area. They consolidated it, broke it out, dropped it down, consolidated it again, and then ripped it higher. So it cleaned up all of the void space in here, traded down, and we're just currently trading into this consolidation area. But this is my target. I'm looking at this consolidation area, and then next week we're going to be looking at into the big one, which is down in here. And that's what I'd like to see price get down to next week. So we got a little bit of a range still to go. but that's where my targets are for next week for crude, unless something crazy happens, like war breaks out. And again, this is why you don't want to trade and keep positions over the weekend for crude. You want to make sure that you close your positions on Friday, because you could get something like Donald Trump come out saying, well, I'm going to drop a bomb on North Korea, and then all of a sudden the price of crude spikes higher, and forget about it. Right? So anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking at there. Yeah, and see how prices come. I don't like how prices coming back up and powering back up like that. It's just not conducive to sort of what I'm looking at here. But anyway, we'll continue to monitor that. Aussie, we could be looking for some shorts. This thing's stair-stepping though. I don't want to see, let's see here, price comes up. I don't want to see it break that. That would be sort of the line in the sand, but they've already come up once on it already in here. See how they came up and closed into this candle here, right in this wick. You shouldn't necessarily have to see price go back up there again. It should just, if it's going to continue lower, it should just finish lower here. But the US dollar, I don't think, it's just not doing anything. It's just kind of sitting there. It hit this level, starting to reject, and now it's just kind of sitting there, sort of trading softer. So hopefully they start moving it, because there's not a lot of price action happening today. Sorry, it's, price usually, Friday, it typically does move, but you can kind of see what we're looking at here. It's just sort of an inside trading day. The move may have already happened. For sure, the move already happened in the pound dollar, right? That happened right out of the get-go in London Open. Smashed it down, and now they're just sort of kind of meandering around in this area here. Euro's been an inside day all day today. Nothing happening on that market there. You don't want to be trading this. This is not a good market to trade on days like that. You can see here. The US yen, again, not in any area that I'm interested in trading. Might be able to squeeze a few pips here and there. The US CAD, so you can see what they're doing here. They ran price back up, and they cleared these lows here, going higher, but they still haven't got above this candle here. So what I'd like to see again is this to happen. That would be great for a nice long, but I don't know if we're going to see that or not. So I don't know that there's a lot there that I can put out for in terms of a signal there. Sorry guys, and I know you come in here and you're sitting there looking for, well, give me a signal, give me something clear that I can look at. There's really nothing clear that I like right now, unfortunately. This I kind of like I say, you could go short potentially in here. You could do a short, you could do a demo trade, we're all doing demos here, so you could do a demo at 78.20 and take it short, and then look for 7,800 somewhere down in here, and pick up 30-40 pips on it as a demo, I guess. Crude oil, if you've got an appetite for a little more risk, you could go short at current levels here. I'm looking for them to take out the low here, or at least to finish softer on the day. Bitcoin, we discussed this market here. I don't see, well, what I'd like to see, to be honest with you, I'm just going to point out a couple areas here. Just got to have a quick peek. If you guys are a Bitcoin currency trader, and you guys are like, what the hell is Bitcoin going to do? I wouldn't necessarily get short rate at current levels on Bitcoin. Like I say, it's going to go down for sure, but there's been a nice retracement off of it. So you can kind of see here, this being the low. Oops, this up. So they've come back and they've had a fairly decent retracement on this. So the swing originated up at the 10,000, or sorry, the 9,000 level, and finished around the just below the 6,000 level on Bitcoin, and then it's had a very nice retracement off of those lows. But my eye is kind of drawn up to here. Do you see this high here and those subsequent highs there? It's kind of a double top, and double tops are suspect for liquidity raids. A lot of times, come on, trend line, piss me off. 1 second. Jesus. That was painful. Sorry, guys. So you see here, price wicked up, and then they banged up against that price 1, 2, 3 times in here. A lot of people are looking at it, not a lot, but you know, some people are in there thinking, well, that's going to be a short all day long, so I'm going to get short, and then they kind of trickled price down here, and I think what they're going to do is just kind of do this, pop it up, and then drop it from there. You know, but they may want to get higher because there are some levels up here that I'm looking at as well too. And more specifically, I'm just going to anchor this guy down just a little bit, just to kind of get the wick of that candle. Now, price was fairly efficiently traded in here. Let's see, what you want to see is you want to see price really traded a lot in specific ranges. When you have these open ranges like this, price tends to come back up and grab liquidity out of them. So, you know, like it did here, right? And, you know, I'd be looking anywhere from here up to that blue line, you know, really. So anywhere from, what is that level? And they take stops by 86.09, depending on what Bitcoin does, but you know, anywhere up from there to 88.31, and I'd be looking at going short, or even up to this line. You got to watch, right, what they want to do. If they want to just take it up to kind of this level here, this 88.20 level, and then sink it, or if they want to come all the way back up here. They probably shouldn't have to, but you never know what they may want to do in this market. And they might do it today. They might run it up. I don't know that they'll drop it convincingly today. That'll probably be into next week. But I could see what they would do in today. They'd bring it above market. They'd take out the stops, and then, you know, Monday, Tuesday, they'd bring it up and then start dropping it down. And then, you know, next week we should be down into these levels, somewhere down in here, is what I'd be looking at. And again, this W pattern here, that may not happen. I'm just kind of giving you an example on that one, right? We're not sure where it's going to go other than down. I do know it's going to go down. But we'll be looking at it next week. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. It's 9:30 now. There's really not much else to talk about. The S&P got smashed again yesterday. So there's definitely some movement going on in the markets. They're drawing liquidity right now. The market, this was over bloated. I mean, you haven't seen these levels hit since, I mean, price has been trading straight up since October of last year. Straight up. Sorry, well, longer than October, but they haven't returned to those prices since October. And there's a ton of liquidity out of the market here. So just depending on what they're doing here, you know, they had a failure swing, they rammed it back down again. They may want to come back down and take these lows, and I'd even suggest potentially maybe taking it to back to this consolidation area right here. If you guys are S&P traders, which one of my analysts is, and I'm taking his session today because he went away for the weekend, took a nice 4-day holiday and took off, so I'm covering his session today. He would normally be in here trading the S&P today with you guys, but I'm not an S&P trader. I used to trade the SPOOs a little bit, you know, a few years ago, but I've gravitated more towards the US dollar index, and the only reason because it's tough, you know, like it's, especially this run in here, like you can trade it if you just blindly get long from any random spot and then just sit and hold on to it. Then yeah, you know, you could potentially have a market that might, you know, you could certainly capture this range, but I like to trade on retracements. I like to get in on bearish candles if we're going long, and I wanted to see a tracement into this level here, didn't get it, and price subsequently has run higher. So anyway, he usually does this session on S&P, so next Friday morning, again, New York open at 8 o'clock, he'll be on and he'll be trading this market here. So if you are an S&P trader, you can look forward to that next week. But I think we could see lower prices into next week. I'd be interested to see if they want to take out that low right there and come down to this candle here, or candle, this consolidation area right in here. It'll be interesting to see what they want to do. I'm pretty sure they're not done running this thing higher. They'll probably come back up and take these highs out here. But we'll see what it wants to do. It's had a nice uptrend, so I think this is very, very overdue. Just in case you were wondering, this is very overdue. Been waiting for this for the past year to happen, and I finally did it. 2017 started, like, we haven't even taken the lows out. You got to keep this into perspective too. Yes, it's seen a huge dip down, but like this was the start of 2017 right here. January 1st, 2017. Get it. Right there, close enough. That's the start of trading, 2017. So, you know, we've only wiped out 50% of the gain from last year, right? That it came down and grabbed. So it's not like the market's collapsing and you know, if it starts taking out last year's low, then we got some issues. You know, the market could really be collapsing. But like, that was a huge bull market, so you gotta expect some room for retracement and some markets to breathe. Sorry, just reading a note from one of my guys. Yeah, you gotta expect the market to breathe a little bit. You can't just expect it to go. I would not want to be part of any market that just keeps going straight up. I mean, that's crazy. And this thing had to retrace a little bit, and it's going to grab some liquidity, and we'll probably resume our course higher again. So that's what we can see. So, you know, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to get long. I'd like to see them come back down into this area here, and then we'll wait and watch and see what price does. But then we could start to see this happen again, right? Price, they just slowly start taking it back up for the rest of the year, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to get long in this market. As long as they don't want to convincingly break lower than that, then we'll be, you know, suspect of maybe our bull rally's over, and maybe we're going to see the next year bearishness on this. Don't know. We're going to wait to see what happens there. But again, shift in the U.S. dollar. Look, see, now they're driving that up nicely right there. That's nice to see. Euro still sideways. Pound dollar, they're bringing it back down again. And kind of right at the low of these lows here, eh? It's where they, not quite. Didn't quite get up to that level there. So they could take out this low here. US CAD, like I was saying, yeah, and they just went straight up higher on the US CAD. They didn't really give you a chance to retrace and get in for a long, so unfortunately, I missed that. That was my fault. Again, I don't see, when they drop price down like this, like that quickly, run it up and drop it down that quickly, I'm a little hesitant to get in on this big green candle going back up, because I've seen it before where they'll come in, they'll drop price down under the market, and they'll come up to the lows of these consolidations right here, making people think, oh, it's going to reverse and go back up to where it came from, and then they just drop it and sink it. So what you like to see is, I like to see the candle come up, trade off of the low here, and then create a down candle, fail to break the low, and then trade higher. That's where your entry is, right when it comes down or traces. This didn't really give us a chance to do that, unfortunately. Let me look at a 5-minute. Yeah, see this big bull green candle right here? If they had to come back down to this black candle right here, and then you could have taken along there. But if this candle right here comes back down to this level here where this candle is, you could get long, and you'd want to take your profits. Again, it's Friday, so we don't know how much they're going to run things. But we do have another 1, 2, potentially 3 hours of markets to move. So I'd be looking at taking some profits in these areas here, if that's what you wanted to do, getting long. 2,600 big figure. If they brought it back down to 2,600, come on. Yeah, actually landed it. I remember this time. If they came back down here, you get long, and then 20 pip target, and you know, I wouldn't even say there. I'd say more like there, 40 pip target. So there's a little bit you can squeeze out today, for sure. Maybe some of you guys already got long on this. That'd be awesome. If you did, I didn't. I didn't take a demo trade on it, but you could have done that. The Aussie, for sure, nice area, nice little retracement area right there. 78.20, like I said, and now we're seeing a nice little run down here for 10, 20 pips, and potentially down here. So that's a nice range. I mean, if price got down there, that's 40 pips right there on the day. You could certainly take that. I'm not doing any trading today because, like I say, guys, it's Friday. I've got one trade open on crude oil that I'm looking at, and we're back down to those levels again nicely. So I'm looking for this low to be taken out here. So that's great. Good to see there. Bitcoin we just discussed. I'd like to see price come up. If you're a Bitcoin trader, watch for price to do this today. It's going to come up, and then I don't know how much they're going to want to smash it today, but for sure Monday or Tuesday's trading, they're going to start bringing it lower, and that's what we'll be looking to get some shorts in here. So I want to see price develop. I want to see take out these highs here, and then we'll look at getting short. And that's pretty much it. I'm not going to get into, look at copper today. I got another down day on copper. So copper, I'm going to look at, if you guys are a copper trader, I don't know. I'm doing a commodity video here. I'm going to get a chance finally today to finish it. So I've got a couple markets that I'm analyzing, copper being one of them. So these are the levels on copper that I'm looking at going forward here. Cocoa, it's not really doing much. I called longs down in here and price traded up nicely, but this is really just a choppy market. I'm not really big on it. Coffee's trading sideways. Cotton's traded softer. Still have yet to break this consolidation area, and I'm waiting for them. I've been waiting for them to do it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 2 weeks now. I've been waiting for them to break this level here. I'm going to see where they're going to take that. Sugar kind of pissed me off because I didn't get my entry. I was looking for my entry down here. See this candle right here? I was looking for price to trade up and then trade back down and to get my entry. I don't know if you guys have been following me at all, but about a week ago, where this price hit, this was last Thursday, my laptop went down and I had to wipe Windows off, and the tech guys came in, cleared everything off, and so I didn't have any access to any trading platform or anything like that. And I'm not going to do a commodity trade like this off of my cell phone. I just, there's some trades I'll manage a trade on my cell phone, but I'm not going to trade off of it. And enter new positions. And anyway, price came down, slammed down here. This is my long area, and look what price did. It just ripped off of there and came up into here. I was looking for a long entry earlier this week. Price came down. I actually missed it again. I wasn't in front of the markets when it did it. The trade into it ripped back up, and then we had a big down candle again here. And now today's trading is trading into here. So I'm not necessarily bullish on this. We had a failure swing over here. Price failed to get under these lows there, so that kind of tips you off, tips your hand, lets you know where the market's going to get taken, and it's ripped back up. But I wanted to see these highs get taken out, and I'm basically going to suggest that if price gets lower than the top of, let me get rid of these day dividers. Again, sorry guys, I don't know if any of you are commodity traders, but I'm not a big commodity guy. I'm more of a forex guy, but and I love trading oil. But come on, get straight. Jesus, close enough. If price breaks the top of this candle here, this green candle, then I'm not necessarily as bullish on this. It may want to come back down to this area one more time here and get some longs and go higher, but I'd be very suspect on it. So I can get rid of these here. These were from earlier in the week when price did this. Unfortunately, didn't get all the way up there, but we'll leave these targets on because that's what we'll be looking at if price does want to do that. So we're kind of looking at a failure swing here, price to get higher. So we'll look at that next week. Orange juice, the juice. Some nice bullish action in here. I like to see price come down a little bit more before we start looking at getting long. And orange juice doesn't actually really trade yet for a little bit, so there's no rush on there. And the Dow Jones, some pound yen. One of my analysts has been going through the pound yen. quite a bit. So I believe we will see some trades on the pound yen going forward, and in terms of shorts. And so we'll be looking at taking those into next week. He was calling some levels here today and yesterday. If you're part of our group, you'll have seen that in the group chat. He was discussing several levels here yesterday. That all came to fruition. You can see here that had a nice drop down today and trade up perfect levels, just perfect levels into here, and traded softer. So we'll be looking at that next week to get into some shorts on the pound yen. And that's pretty much going to do it. Do you guys have any questions? I'll stick around here for about another 5 minutes. And if you guys have any questions, now is the time, because I will be closing it down and calling it a day. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'm going to shut her down. Come on, crude oil. Punch down. Get lower. I want to see them take this low out. What's the low on that? 60.12. Oh, it's literally 60.12, 121. 60.12, 121. Double bottom. Great. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. I don't really see any questions. You guys have any weekend plans? I'm not doing anything really this weekend. I had kind of a, I don't do a lot of partying or anything like that. I've got a family, and so my life doesn't usually get too exciting. But we're in the middle of winter where I'm at, and we've probably got about a foot of snow yesterday, and so I finished digging that out yesterday. I think we got some clear skies, so I think I might try and get the family out for the weekend and enjoy some of the snow, and as long as it doesn't get too cold out. I was talking with a guy yesterday from California. He said they've been having a bit of a heat wave, and he's going to the beach all weekend. So it definitely differs quite a bit from whatever part of the world that you live in. But anyway, that's sort of what my weekend is looking like. But on that note, so just so you know, we will be posting, if any of you guys in here watching today are part of our members signals group. You can find us on right down here, f45trading.com. Go to our website. You can sign up free for 2 weeks. You can check out all of our signals for free without any cost to you. You can see if our trading style is something that fits with your lifestyle, with your trading prowess, and hopefully we can help you, give you some signals and some market direction and some bias. Come check us out. We have a live chat room, live traders chat room that we engage with all of our users daily. We have a instant signals update channel that you get instant trade signals right to your phone the second that we put them out. You can get that on your phone, so you can jump on the markets and activate those trades instantly. That's all direct to you, and we put out signals every day, Monday to Friday. We do market analysis weekly, so typically every Sunday we will put out a video that will give you a weekly upcoming review of where we think the levels will be at, so you can watch for that this Sunday. We do live market analysis that we're doing here, stream it live for you guys. Just so you know, it's free for now on our YouTube channel. Just click right down here in the bottom right hand corner of your screen and click subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. We do trading sessions, live trading sessions for London Open on Tuesday, London Open Wednesday, London Open Thursday, and New York Open on Friday. And we may be adding some additional time slots in there as well too. So we've got a ton of live trading for you guys. That's free for now until April, and then we're going to be shutting that down, and that's going to only be a feature of our membership group. So you can take advantage of it now, but come April 1, we're going to close that down to the public, and it's no longer going to be free, and you can take advantage of that. But like I say, there's a lot of advantages to being part of our membership group. Like I say, instant trade signals, members chat room, trade signals every single day, weekly reviews, so there's a ton of information there for you guys to dispose of. And on top of that, if you're just new and just learning how to trade, jump into our website, because there's a whole education series in there on how to trade, how to do entries and exits and take profit levels, and several things in there that you can use to better your understanding of how the markets work. And here's the thing, guys. If you want to, send us an email at f45trading, that's f45trading at gmail.com. Send us an email and just say, hey guys, I'm kind of interested in learning about how to do this. I'll do a video for you guys, I'll post it, and I'll even email it directly to you. So I can certainly help you out doing that. So anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap it up. I don't see any questions on the chart. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks very much for joining us, and we will catch up to you next Tuesday morning, London Open. We'll see.